Now that, boys and girls, is how you open up a video. Now let's get right into it. Guillermo del Toro was born October 9th, 1964 in Guadalajara, Jalisco, Mexico. Raised by his Catholic grandmother, Del Toro developed an interest in filmmaking in his early teens. Later, he learned about makeup and special effects from the legendary Dick Smith. That's right, Dick Smith from The Exorcist. 1973, you remember that movie, scared you to death. At the age of 21, Del Toro executive produced his first feature, Donna Herranda and Her Son, 1986. Del Toro spent almost 10 years as a makeup supervisor and formed his own company, Necropia, in the early 1980s. Del Toro got his first big break when Kronos, 1993, won 9 Emmy Awards, the Mexican equivalent of the Oscars. Then went on to win International Critics Week prize at Cannes. Following this success, Del Toro made his first Hollywood film, that's right, Mimic, 1997. I remember that movie. Yeah, that's right, I do remember that movie. It was with Marina Sorvino. Yeah, I remember going to the movies watching that. Oh, yeah. And then in 2002, Guillermo del Toro broke through with, of course, Blade 2, directed Wesley Snipes in the sequel to the first real Marvel movie that ever came out. But anyway, 2004, 2 years later, he broke through with his favorite actor, Ron Perlman, and they put together that movie that we all know him by. That's right, Hellboy. Hellboy was phenom. Then after Hellboy, we all know what the history is. Guillermo del Toro went on, he did Pan's Labyrinth. He also went on to do Pacific Rim. And of course, in 2017, he won the Oscar for Best Picture and Best Director for the movie The Shape of Water. All right, kids, you know how we do around here. We're going to talk about it. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is a series of 3 collections of short horror stories for children. Written by Alvin Schwartz and originally illustrated by Stephen Gamel. In 2011, HarperCollins published editions featuring new art by Brett Hellquist, stirring some controversy among the fans. Subsequent paintings have restored the original Gamel artwork. The titles of the books are Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, that's 1981, More Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, 1984, and Scary Stories 3, More Tales to Chill Your Bones, that was 1991. Okay, gang, now where were we? Aw, that's why she can't read those books. I'm serious. But anyway, Guillermo del Toro, the year was 2016. While in production on a little movie that would later bring him the gold. That's right. A year later. But anyway, he was in production on that little movie, and he would start thinking about scary stories to tell in the dark. He needed a director. And he got one. He found one. Andre Oberdal. You guys know him. It's funny, 2016. That was a really momentous year that while Guillermo was doing Shape of Water, Andre had 2 films that came out that year. He had the Autopsy of Jane Doe, and then he had a little short film called Tunnelel, or Tunnelin. It all depends on the pronunciation. Quick background on Andre. He's best known for writing and directing the film Troll Hunter. Oberdal wrote the 20th Century Fox television pilot of an action horror television series, Enormous, which is based on the comic book of the same name. And if you didn't know, Andre Oberdal is Norwegian film director and screenwriter. So like I said, 2016 was an interesting year because it put into place all the things that would lead up to Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. These two would get together and collaborate and put together our little opus. So boys and girls, kids of all ages, now that we have our coach and our quarterback, Just a reminder, there are a lot of great children's stories and scary stories to be told out there. We all know that. But what's the difference between Mr. Schwartz's scary stories to tell in the dark and basically everybody else? Well, there's a little word that pops up. I think we know what that word is. That word is controversy. That's right. Oh, yeah. You know, this series is listed by the American Library Association as being the most challenged series of books from the 1990s and the seventh most challenged from the year 2000s. It made it again in 2012. It made that list. Complaints have typically centered on its violence, disturbing subject matter, and potentially unsuitability for younger readers, as well as obviously religious concerns. Critics have called the stories, many of which have featured macabre topics such as murder, disfigurement, and cannibalism, sick, repulsive, and really disgusting. Not appropriate for children. Yeah, boys and girls, I can see where the parents got a little spooked. You know, it's kind of spooky in here right now making this video. But anyway, the nightmarish artwork by Stephen Gamel has also been the subject of criticism. Among the groups that have attempted to have the books removed from school libraries are local parents groups and the Concerned Women of America. Defenders have included the American Library Association and the Bulletin of the Center for Children's Books. And now, defenders of the books have claimed that they are aimed at middle school kids who are perfectly able to cope with this kind of thing, and that the stories help children deal with reality by putting faces on what they're afraid of. Well, if those faces represent what these kids are scared of, oh man, we got problems. Kiddos, we finally come to it. That's right. It's almost like going in the subway, waiting for the next train. You sit there for a minute. It seems like 100 years, but you see a light at the end of the tunnel. That's right. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark. The film was released on August 9th, 2019 by Lionsgate and CBS Films. Now remember, guys, Del Toro received a writer's credit while also producing the film. We also know he brought in Andre Overdell to direct it. And in August 2018, Michael Graza, Austin Abrams, Gabriel Rush, Austin Zargia, and Natalia Gazhorn were cast by Overdell to star in this little movie. Now, folks, we brought you this little review of Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark because you know what? We love horror movies. And we had some good horror movies before. We've had some bad horror movies. And we've had some movies that we hope to one day finally forget. But this one's special, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark, was a children's book adaptation that they made into a film. Now, we've seen other horror movies before that took the premise of don't open the casket, don't go in the house, don't step in the water. Sometimes they even said don't eat ice cream. I mean, I don't know. But anyway, let me tell you guys how special this movie really was. Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is the latest horror movie to exceed expectations at the box office, proving the genre's consistency in an industry otherwise dominated by Disney. Yeah, you didn't hear that from me. The movie earned $21 million domestically over the weekend, but this little diamond in the rough was only produced for $28 million. Wow. It follows a string of horror hits in recent years, such as It, Get Out, A Quiet Place. And if you didn't know, it even gave Hobbs and Shaw a run for its money. The Fast and Furious spinoff earned $25 million in the second weekend, narrowly holding off Scary Stories for the top spot in the U.S. box office. There you have it, boys and girls. There she is again, trying to read those books. Anyway, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark is over. We hope you enjoyed this review. We love bringing it to you. And if you didn't know, guess what? Obviously, there is a sequel in the works. There's a lot of stories to tell. We really enjoyed this. And as we say around here, we love horror. We hope you guys love horror. And we had a good time. See you later.